Welcome back to Jessup Says Home. I'm Annabelle and this is a place where I encourage you to buy less, restore more. I'll be sharing tips and tricks and stories as I approach my street salvage and give it a new lease on life. I am a little bit distracted because there are two little dogs running around. You go off to that side. Come here, gorgeous. And this one. There you go. You get furniture and dogs. And so I will be taking you on this journey as we turn this from street salvage to something that you would enjoy to have in your home. Oh, I wouldn't be licking that. Actually, it's quite dirty. You should probably hop off. Off. As you've probably seen before, I always start with a very good clean. I go in with a sugar soap to get rid of anything that is on there, dust, grime. These are pieces that are usually on the side of the road out for hard rubbish collection, and so they definitely need to have a good clean before we get started on them. As you'll see here, none of my dogs, but dog has definitely had a go on the corner, and so we will be needing to address that. I think I'll actually be going green and maybe two-tone with this design here. And so we'll likely be sanding it back and going in with the paint sprayer. So sugar soap, gloves, and where possible I try to use reusable cloths. So going in with microfiber cloths. And I do actually have a toothbrush for those nooks and crannies that I can't get in with the cloth. There we go, sugar soap. So that is half a cup diluted into about 8 litres. I've swapped into doing this rather than a spray and wipe as I think it's better bang for my buck. Oh, I really like tight gloves, but I don't like getting them on. Like, there's nothing worse than a glove that doesn't fit and you just swim in it, especially for those spots where you actually need full function of your hands. But then I have this trouble. So look, it's great once it's on. Not fun getting it. If you've got any tips, I've seen people blow into them. No, I don't know. Still doesn't really help. So I usually do a couple of passes with this. So go all over the piece and then do it again. The main purpose of this is obviously we don't want to be handling a really dirty piece. I think that's not very sanitary to be around. But then we also don't want that gunk on there because it clogs up our sanding paper. And so you end up just going through sanding discs way quicker, way more quickly. Well, I'd love to hear if you have dogs at home, and do your dogs like watching furniture restoration? These definitely do. So we have cleaned this all down and it is now, well, I say that, I cleaned it and then I put it away. So I'm revisiting it. So maybe just another wipe down. It's all ready to go in terms of sanding, and I've had time to think about the planning for it. So what I think I'd like to do now is actually curve these edges. That would do two things for me. It would obviously take away any of the damage done by the dog, and it would also modernize this. It's very chunky. So the other part of it is changing out the feet. Now I found these gorgeous round feet, which I think will just elevate it and make it that more modern piece. So I'll likely be doing that with a hacksaw, creating a stencil and replicating that down on the bottom. And then all of it needs a really good sand, and we want to see what the true colour is under here. We've got a bit of a sneak peek there. And so that'll help me decide whether I'm going to paint it or keep it all natural, I don't know, natural. And then with this new modern take, I don't think I will be repurposing these handles. There'll be another project where I can, but I think we might find some really nice semicircle handles to be in keeping with the feet. So I've actually got a recent purchase that I did. I purchased this, and this is a tent. So I purchased this for painting, but I am actually going to give it a go for dust management, and then maybe I'll get a second one that can be just purely for paint, because I obviously don't want to mix dust and paint. But I am in my garage. There are other things in here that are sensitive to dust. I bike to work, and my poor bike gets a heavy dusting every single time I stand in here. So I'm going to see and set this up with you to see if this will work, to put the coffee table inside it to manage a bit of the dust that will fly around. Follow me along. Spacious. So I have rolled up the sides of it to, well, show the interior of it, otherwise I'd be flapping about. But this is like entertainment unit size, like sideboard size. There's so much space in here. I can stand, I'm short, I'm 163 centimeters. So if you're really tall, you probably would not fit in here comfortably, but most of the sanding that we do, I tend to do kneeling anyway and try and get into that most ergonomic position. So yeah, look, I think this is really good. Let's put it to the test. Obviously it's Velcro here, it's not a full seal, like a zip seal. That would probably be really bad for respiratory systems as well. But yeah, it's going to keep most of it contained, or that's what I believe. I will need some help to lift that in, so I'm gonna go and get my husband, show off my one-person tent creation skills, and yeah, let's see how this goes with sanding. Coffee table's in here. You can see the scale of it now. That looks quite small in there. So I'm going to sand. The usual respiratory protection, hearing protection, eye protection, and we'll get doing this. Right, I will close it up and I will show you in between how we're tracking on the sanding. See you soon. Oh my gosh, going out to breathe again. Oh, okay, get my lovely sandy face. I love how the tops come out. I think that's such a clean look. Sorry, that's distorting it. Such a clean look, very natural. Could keep going a little bit on it, and so that was with 120 grit. I'll finish it with 240. I'm thinking I actually paint the rest white. Maybe make the bottom the exact same. So that would mean disassembling everything to get at the bottom, to then make it the same so it's a mirror, and then have the really nice circular feet, cut off the corners, and beautiful handles. That's the plan. Alright, here's hoping. Oh, brilliant. That came off as easy as I was hoping for. So, well, I might need to get something for those, just pliers to pull them out. And then we're going to sand this section, put in some curves, and we'll be away. This has all been scuff sanded, so it'll be ready for a good wipe down, and then it can be painted.